if we say, here's the dark future for men and women, how can you make money off of that? How can you be optimistic about that? How can you live a better life because you know it's coming? What can you do to prepare? What can you do to put yourself in the best position and leverage an advantage in that dark future? And how can you use that to A, live a better life, and B, how can you like change society, change the environment as a result of you having that knowledge and you know it's coming? That's what I'm saying. Like, none of these guys who are on here, they're not scared of the recession. They're ready to make money off that recession.
Bam.
Now,
I like that.
Okay, that's an economic dark future that's coming, right?
Yeah.
How can you as a man be the Ken McElroy, the Robert Kiyosaki, and the George Gammon of the intersection of the intersectional dynamics and the sexual marketplace? How can you position yourself like these hustlers can? How do you do that? You got to figure that out. And you know how you do that? You watch Fresh and Fit, you watch The Rational Male, and you watch the best of the best that's here.
You take a holistic approach to dating.
We prepare you for the future. It's pragmatic. It's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
And let me make this very clear, because some people tend to think that, oh, Fresh and Fit, all you guys do is just tell guys to get in the gym and make money, and that's going to get the girls. No, you fucking idiots. We say you need to focus on yourself, but you also need to learn game too. You need to understand female nature and understand how to properly approach them and talk to them. We are by no means just telling y'all, just self-improve and that's it. No, you got to learn game and talk to girls too. You actually have to put the shit into practice. You know what I mean? You can't just be one of these gym cells or whatever. Mm-hmm. We've said that plenty of times when people like to pick and choose, what the fuck we're talking about.
Black pill doomers are the guys that everybody here, like McElroy and the rest of these guys, they're the guys you're the guys that are going to get rolled. Yeah. You see it coming. You know what's going on. You go, oh, no, I'll never get laid. I'm going to either off yourself or you're going to go live in a shack somewhere and jerk off for the rest of your life. But you know what? The people who know better and are creative thinkers and they're the ideas guys, they're going to be the ones who, even in a dark future, are going to go, you know what? I saw it coming and I made the best of it.
Yeah, man. And I really like that, because we gave y'all the prediction and it's already happening. I hope you guys realize that a lot of these things I just mentioned, these things, the breeding ground of what's going to come.
All of this.
It's already fucking happening. I'm not even really like going that hard on the prediction. Like it's already happening with the women making more money, men not getting sex, men's ambition being down, testosterone levels being down, women already getting a bunch of artificial attention and affection. All we're doing is connecting the dots for you guys to let you see the dark future ahead, that if you're not a top percent guy, it's going to be very difficult for you. Okay. And if you aren't a top percent guy, you're going to have to be a top percent at something. Let's say you don't have your money together, but you got extremely good game. Well, you're going to be able to get some girls. God damn it. You might not be able to retain them, but you're going to get some fucking girls. For all those guys, you can still get the girls. All right, motherfucker. You're probably in a third world country then, in that case. If you don't have money and you're getting baddies and you're able to retain them, you probably live in a poorer country. You're in a fucking, I don't know, in a Brazil, in a Philippines, in a fucking Colombia, whatever it is. So You got to be, if you're going to be in the West, where women are making their own money, etc., you need to be on point. And then also one other thing before I read the super chats that you mentioned, which I forgot to acknowledge, is that we are definitely in a post-marriage society. Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100% on that. It's we're in a marriage only benefits female society. So for you guys out there, especially you guys that have some goddamn money or whatever it may be, this is going to sound terrible for me to say this. You're probably going to have to be selective when you come to, well, you need to be selective when you marry anyway, but you're going to need to look for unorthodox traits in the opposite gender. What the fuck do I mean by that? You're going to need to, if you are going to go down and take that plunge and marry a fucking girl in today's day and age, guys, you're going to need to marry a girl that has some skin in the game and has something to lose. You're going to need to marry a bitch that makes as much money as you,
need to start thinking of the sexual marketplace and the dynamics between men and women. You have to give up the 20th century way of thinking about it and start thinking in 21st century.
You can't rescue these hoes anymore, guys. You'll get punished for it.
You have to start like people say, well, how can I make the best of a post-marriage society or whatever?
Or leave.
Right. Yes. Well, and then, so let me ask you this, because I have seen you go from, because I started doing this show in January of 2021, and you guys picked me up in a rented Land Rover, and you had 20,000 subs on this channel, and I think I had 80,000 on mine, and I'm like, I'll come down and go out there and hang out with
you guys. We actually had 20K when you were here.
And I've seen you guys go from that to where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And I've seen the amount of money that you guys have made in that time, right? Yeah. You're buying properties, Fresh is buying a Rolls Royce, for Christ's sake. But like, a McLaren and all that other stuff inside a year. Like he had that McLaren by August 2021. Yeah. And so let me ask you this. Would you say that your attitude or your thinking about money has changed in that time?
It's made me realize, and actually I was having a conversation literally with Justin.
Do you think differently about money now than you did in January of 2021?
When it comes to a dating perspective or overall?
No, I mean in money wise. Like money wise, like
just strictly like
because I used to work in a day-to-day job, like in a sub 6-figure job. Right now, of course, I'm above that, but like my attitude and my thinking about money, and my thinking about my future, and my thinking about retirement, and my thinking about like planning for the future kind of thing, entirely different than now that I'm up to where
strictly
I'm at
money.
right there.
Okay. So not bitches, just strictly money.
Just
my mindset changed 100%.
Right.
And the reason why is because coming from as a government employee, you were told, work, not because in the government, right, especially if you're law enforcement, right, it's kind of frowned upon to have another job. Especially if it's federal, whether you work for FBI, DEA, whatever it may be, you can have an outside employment, but it's kind of frowned upon. Like your job should be the federal gig should be your main thing. If you want to do some side hustle shit, you can, but it's frowned upon. So what they tell you is, max out your TSP, max out which is your thrift savings plan. For some of you guys, may not be federal. So max that thing out, contribute to that conventional, 401ks, etc., single digit returns, basically, a tried and true method of building wealth and
stay safe.
Millionaire, stay safe, don't take risks. Now that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm doing my thing and buying real estate properties, I learned that pretty much, and we talked about this yesterday with George Gaiman and them, everything that I learned, or that mindset, is going to set you up to be perpetually average from a financial standpoint to a degree, or maybe a little bit above average. But if you want to be extraordinary, you have to do extraordinary things. And what that means is taking crazy risks, buying assets that, could potentially bankrupt you, whatever it is, like real estate, whatever, maybe crypto, whatever. So my mindset on money definitely changed, where I needed to procure assets to build the wealth, where versus before I was just taking that earned income and like kind of, saving in a checking or in a bullshit Bank of America savings account, or putting it into my TSP, which that'll make you a millionaire 40 years from now with some compound interest, but that's not the real way to build wealth.
Right. Okay. Now, everything you just said, take that and apply that to the sexual marketplace.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you deal with a post-marriage world. Okay. You used to think about money in a 20th century way. And now that you are now you're wheeling and dealing with real estate, and we're hanging out with, in Ken's case, maybe a billionaire, okay, and we're thinking about money in different ways. You have to start thinking about relationships, and you have to start thinking about the intersexual dynamics and the sexual marketplace in the same way that you just described. We once thought this way, the blue pill. We once thought this way, and now we are unplugged, and now we're thinking about things in a different way. It's easy when we talk about money. We go, yeah, because it's money. Yeah,
it's objective.
But you start talking about women, and you start talking about yourself and families and everything else. You have to stop thinking in old order bullshit. That's 20th century. And by the way, that applies to intersexual dynamics. It also applies to politics as well. Stop thinking in terms of 20th century. Donald Trump, 20th century brand and candidate. Hillary Clinton, 20th century. Biden, 20th century. Nancy Pelosi, definitely 20th century. Everyone that is making rules and pulling strings right now, they've all started their political careers in some cases the late 70s and late 80s right now. You have to stop thinking in 20th century. It is the 21st fucking century.
And tradcons will criticize guys like me and you that say, hey man, get out there and play the market, whatever it may be. Listen, man, it's not going back. You're never going to get women in aprons again, serving you and all this other shit. Like,
we don't have a time machine.
You know what I mean? Guys, I'm sorry for all the tradcons out there. A lot of you guys say you guys promote degeneracy, all this other shit. The days of women coming fundamentally feminine out the box are done. We live in a fatherless America. A lot of women nowadays, it's rare if you find a girl that comes from a two-parent household. So what are you going to do? Are you going to cry and wish women back to 1950, or are you going to adapt to the situation? We're telling you guys how to adapt to the situation. Yes. You got to play the field. You got to understand female nature. You're going to have to get your notch count up to understand female nature so that you don't get finessed. And if you do actually take that crazy ass plunge where you get married, well, you got to do it with certain things in place to make sure that you don't get destroyed, because unfortunately the rules don't favor you as a man and it favors the woman. You're getting into a contract with someone that's incentivized to break it.
The 20th century is now 21 and a half years in the fucking rear view mirror. Yeah. Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah.
Start looking forward instead of looking backwards.
We don't cry on this channel, guys. We don't cry on the Rational Mail. We don't cry on Fresh and Fit. Whatever we give you guys.
There's no crying in the manosphere.
We tell y'all what the fuck is really going on in the sexual marketplace, and we give you guys solutions, and you could choose to take them or not. Yep. But we're going to identify problem, identify solution. It's up to you if you want to actually take take the solution, take the advice, and do the work to get to the solution. So let's